Alright, episode 1, because last episode was episode 0, technically. And, yeah, I loved the last episode. For this episode, I'm wondering, is it the same cast? If it's not, who's changed? The Doctor is the same? I'm assuming he is, because I've heard the first Doctor's the same for the first few seasons. But then again, I don't know about the whole unaired pilot thing. I'm assuming it's the same Doctor, but everyone else, for all I know, they could have changed the actors. Um, I don't know if there's going to be a reshot version of the same first episode. I'm kind of hoping it isn't. But that it is an unaired pilot, that means that they have to completely restart the story from here. So I don't fucking know what's going to happen. Or if he's going to be just as evil, or if like one of the studio notes was make the Doctor more likable, or I don't know what's going to happen here. I've seen long running shows like this before, but like not like this. Like as far as like if I was just thinking of this as one season, I've seen like 4 hour long Batman serials before from the 40s. I love those. So as far as like watching old 90s shit all the way or 90s 1900s shit all the way through, I can do that. And that sounds awful cuz it's looping in decades that like don't sound old. Or but you know what I mean. Sorry. This is a mulch, which is when you mix weed and tobacco into a bowl of weed. For those of you who do not smoke weed, who love Doctor Who, sorry, I'm a pothead. That's just, this is my channel. Um, I know that there's not a lot of people that watch Doctor Who and react to it, so sorry if you're trying to watch this with your kids, but the weed will be a thing throughout most of these, probably. At least these first two. I did pull an all-nighter, so if I'm yawning throughout this video, I'll try to cut it out, but if it's over something important and I can't, then, just know that it's not the episode, it's the fact that I haven't slept in, sorry, hours. But yeah, so, I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say before I get into this, but I can't really think of anything, because it's all speculation at this point, and the only way I'm going to get answers is just fucking click play. So, without further ado, let's see how the intro changed. It didn't, so far. I'm starting out with the guy, with the cop guy again? Okay, so that's part of the intro. I was wondering whatever happened to him. Is that a different guy? I don't know if the guy in the first one was a cop. I didn't edit. I didn't edit the first video yet, so I'll basically watch every episode twice because I have to edit these. So if I ask a dumb question like that, I'll know the answer by the time you see the video. I feel like they reshot this intro to make it more. No, because the TARDIS looks slightly better. I don't know. I feel like they shot this intro again. The Unearthly Child. Okay, so this is going to be a remake. Okay, the intro is exactly the same. But I do feel like the sets are better, so they might have reshot it, but I could just be high. Okay, immediately. This is the same exact episode again, so all that bullshit I said about them refilming the intro, that is just me being high. The first 2 minutes of this is the exact same as the other video. I'm still gonna react it, and I'll post them on the same day because they're gonna be the same. But as far as like the differences, I'm assuming that they reshot some of the scenes with the little bit of the wonkier stuff to like give it a bigger budget, or this is shorter by 2 minutes, so they also probably cut out what was meteor, meteor. But yeah. So I don't know how I feel about this with like going through this, but I'll power through. I'll post them on the same day. And I'm sorry that this is going to be basically the same episode again. I didn't know that going in, obviously. And yeah, we'll see what happens if this is like literally the same episode, but they just cut 2 minutes of footage out, I might just delete this and explain it in the next video. And if I don't, you'll hear me talking about what would have happened.
It's alright, I'll forgive you this time. Oh, I had a terrible day. I don't know what to make of it. Oh, what's the trouble? Can I help? Oh, it's one of the girls, Susan Foreman. Susan Foreman? Oh, she your problem too? Yes, sir. 15. She'll let her knowledge out a bit at a time so as not to embarrass me. That's what I feel about her.
I remember that.
Than I'll ever know. She's a genius.
One time in elementary school, my teacher was talking about Star Wars and some other shit. And he's like, "This is the past, into the future," and me being the die-hard Star Wars fan that I am, I mean, do I have it right next to me still? I just had to use this for another video where I talked about the anniversary coming up of where I got it in the Wrong Turn video, but yeah, diehard Star Wars fan. So I piped up. This was third grade. This teacher didn't like me anyway. He stole a bunch of my toys because I brought him to school, and I was only using them at recess. So fuck you. But like, I like all my teachers to some extent. He's not that bad, but yeah, he was my worst. But God, now I feel like a dick because people are gonna see this. I love all my other teachers, but anyway, yeah, he was talking about the Star Wars as if it was the future, and I was like, no, 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 it's set. It says in the beginning, it's set way in the past in a universe that's technologically advanced beyond our science. I think that's basically verbatim what I said in third grade, and the teacher felt so, like he felt like I emasculated his intelligence, I guess, because he didn't really like me from then on. I think his whole lesson was based on that. Not that that was my intention. This is the same episode again. I'm gonna power through, even though I know I'm gonna have to watch this episode 4 times because I'm gonna have to edit it, which means it's gonna be a bitch. I'm gonna still post this on the same day, and this is for you diehard Doctor Who fans. And if you actually watch both of these, then thank you so much, because I don't expect people to. I expect people to skip one of these 2 videos, for sure, knowing that it's the same episode basically. So thank you so much if you actually watch this.
Well, there must be a simple answer somewhere. Well, what? Well, we'll have to find out for ourselves, won't we? Thank you for the week. She's waiting in one of the classrooms. I'm lending her a book on the French Revolution. What's she going to do? Rewrite it? Oh, all right. What do we do? Ask her point blank? No, I thought we could drive there, wait till she arrives, and see where she goes.
That's all for a hit. Oh, I should have done that with the dance, whatever. I don't have the energy to do that the whole time.
John Smith. Expect you to know things like that. I have an inquiring mind.
This is a different girl, isn't it? Be filmed with a different actress. And again, if I'm wrong, then they definitely made, like, the makeup and the look of her is definitely different, and they definitely reshot these scenes.
And a very sensitive ear. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Is that the book you promised me? Yes. Thank you very much. It will be interesting. I'll return it tomorrow. Oh, that's not necessary. Keep it until you've finished it. I've finished it. Where do you live, Susan? I'm giving Miss Wright a lift. I've room for one more.
No offense to the original actress, but this actress is much better. That she was terrible, but this one is much better, and I can see her carrying the franchise more.
Doc, it's mysterious. Be careful, Susan. There'll probably be fog again tonight. See you in the morning. I expect so. Good night. Good night. Good night, Susan.
I'm sorry, but right now is when I'm deciding, okay, Susan, I'm gonna remember that. And it's not that I was explicitly not deciding to remember it before, I just didn't. Because my first thoughts was just, oh, he has a granddaughter.
That's not right.
What's she gonna do? Rewrite it? That's not right. I got that. Yeah, this is better. Okay, there's a complete difference between these, so it's not just the same episode again. But it's still thanks.
Not just. There's a bit of a mystery. Yes, but I think you'll find there's a very simple explanation to all this.
Oh, the flashbacks will be different too.
I don't know how you explain the fact that a teenage girl does not know how many shillings there are in a pound.
Really?
Really? She said she thought we were on the decimal system.
Decimal.
Finally caught the actual line there. I don't know what it was the first time. In editing, I'll figure it out, but I understand that more now based on like where she was, and I guess the first time I heard pound, and I guess I didn't understand the idea that it was obviously the British pound, and then this time I heard shillings, and that put it in perspective of me like, oh. So yeah, I guess this is a rewatch slash first time watch because half of this is old footage and half of this is new footage, and I'm piecing it together more.
Hasn't started yet.
This is the same actress. She's just doing a way better job. Because this is the same actress, I think. Now I feel like even more of a dick.
Suppose she couldn't be a foreigner. Doesn't make sense. Nothing about this girl makes sense. For instance, the other day I was talking about chemical changes. I'd given out the litmus paper to show cause and effect.
And she knew the answer before you'd start.
I'm so sorry to the actress that played this character now, a third, like, however many times I said that, because, like, I didn't recognize her when they cut, because they reshot that scene, and I thought it was a different actress that just kind of looked similar. And then they used the same scene for this, and I was like, well, they wouldn't do that if it was a different actress, so it must have been the same actress. And I was shitting on her first performance. Well, not shitting on it, but just in comparison. Because she's supposed to be that way. She's supposed to be not normal. But then this one, they made her just back to normal enough to where it's more enjoyable.
I'm not trying to be rude, but couldn't we deal with two active chemicals? Then Red could turn blue all by itself and we could get on with something else. I'm sorry. It was just an idea.
I had some dope science experience and experience
It's almost got to the point
experience and experiments in science class though. That was cool. Like there was something with like fire, and like it was burning something, and then it hit something, and then it went. I don't remember what that was, but it was cool.
I can't, Mr. Jetson. You can't simply work on three other dimensions.
Three of them? Time being the fourth, I suppose. Then what do you need?
Too many questions and not enough answers.
Stupid? Or just doesn't know? So we have a fifth.
I feel like they refilmed the scene. Did they recast him too? I mean, did they recast him
You're frightened.
at all? Because like I just realized they didn't recast her.
Best left alone.
I take things as they come. Come on.
I as well, sir. I'm expecting I don't know what I'm expecting for the third act because the tortoise in the interior was good enough. It was good enough. It was great. So, but I don't know if they're gonna bigger budget that for the series.
Susan, what are you doing here? Well, these things are usually on the street.
I feel like they did actually recast the guy though. I honestly should do more research, and I'm gonna Google it.
Faint vibration.
Same doctor, like it. Great.
There
And
you are, grandfather.
And again, sorry about the Susan actress. I feel really bad because I know that people who love these movies or shows. Just that wasn't her day. She did good this day. I mean, I've had bad acting moments and I've had great acting moments. So, I mean, who the fuck am I to say? I've had worse acting moments than anything she did in that pilot that I saw. So.
What are you doing here? We're looking for a girl. We?
Well, good evening.
What do you want? One of our pupils, Susan Foreman, came into this yard. Really? In here? Is it reasonable to suppose that anybody would be inside a cupboard like that? Would it therefore be unreasonable to ask you to let us have a look inside? I wonder why I've never seen that before. Oh, isn't that strange?
That's gonna come back in
When two of
the
teachers
later
from the corridor
episodes,
talk,
because that wasn't in the
we
other
saw her
pilot.
come in and we haven't seen her leave. Naturally, we're worried.
And he's pointing it out.
Oh, I'm afraid it's none of my business.
I noticed it when they saw it too, but now that he's pointed it out, I know it's coming back.
Satisfied that Susan isn't here. Frankly, I don't understand your attitude. So yours leaves a lot.
And honestly, I think that this scene's better too. I think that every scene they reshot is better than the other scene, which is obviously why this is the one that aired first.
He's got it locked up in there. Look at it. There's no door handle.
I'm mixed on this whole idea of them breaking and entering for this. I mean, first of all, every instance it seems that she talks about her grandfather doesn't seem to be in a bad light, and everything about her acting out in school, you can raise suspicion enough for you to go over there and knock on the door and ask like how things are going or anything like that. Maybe even that's intrusive and like what, but sometimes it might be necessary. But like as far as just breaking in to see what the fuck's going on, especially like when the time you hear her, she's like, "Oh, Grandpa." That was a terrible impression because I'm not trying to impress like do an actual impression, but like that's the line, and like it doesn't scream I need help in any way. So clearly, if she's in there intentionally. So the whole idea of the thing, like I get the idea that they need characters that aren't the main characters coming in here and breaking in that aren't hateable. So I'm not really. It's just as far as the script, it makes sense. I love it, but like as far as the characters, it makes them way less likable. Shoes, but on one hand, it's like I don't know. The '60s were different, man.
Was Susan's voice? Of course it was. Susan! Susan! Are you in there? It's Mr. Chesterton and Miss Wright.
If I was Susan, I would just come out like with like the door cracked and then like slide out, shut the door, and be like, "What do you want?" And you're like, "What's in there?" It's like, "It's a fucking closet. I'm studying. What do you want? Why are you in my house?" And then I would have just ushered them out with him. Like everything's fine. This is like where I study. It's just a chair in there. It was not interesting. Get the fuck out of my house. That would have been how I'd have played it, but I understand they're not from that time, and I'm not from that time, so that might have been ruder than I think. But especially since they're my teachers. But you know, whatever. You're in my house. You broke in. Please leave. Probably how I would really phrase it, but it depends on the teacher. The one teacher I mentioned that I didn't like would be the one I'd be like, "Get the fuck out of my house." But everyone else would be like, "Hi, what are you doing here? Please leave." I would like to get back in touch with some of them and just say hi though.
Think you're being rather high-handed, young man? You thought you saw a young girl into the yard. You imagine you heard her voice. You believe she might be in there. It's not very simple.
We all had that one teacher.
Why won't you help
For me, it
us?
was third grade.
I'm not hindering you.
Just people that know
You
now.
nip off quietly in the other direction. Insulting. There's only one way in and out of this yard. I should be here when you get back. I want to see your faces when you try to explain away your behavior to a policeman. Nevertheless, we're going to find one. Come on, Barbara.
What are you doing out there?
She is in there. Close the door. Barbara.
Well, now you look suspicious. Close the door. Oh, they did update it. This looks fancy. Ooh.
Close the door, Susan.
Oh. So this whole ending's reshot.
What are you doing here?
They must have followed you. That ridiculous school. I knew something like this would happen. We stayed in one place too long.
Why should they follow me? Is this really where you live, Susan? Yes.
And what's wrong with it? But it was just a telephone box, perhaps.
This guy's better.
And this is your grandfather? Yes.
Again, nice
Well,
hair.
why didn't you tell us that?
I don't discuss my...
Better hair than the other scene I said nice hair.
It was a police telephone box. I walked all around it. Barbara, you saw me. You don't deserve any explanations. You pushed your way in here uninvited and unwelcome.
I think we ought to leave.
It's an enormous building into one of your smaller sitting rooms. No. But you've discovered television, haven't you? Yes. Then by showing an enormous building on your television screen, you can do what seemed impossible, couldn't you? Well, yes, but I still don't have... Not
love it. Because all matter is atoms, and the idea being that, like, you can condense it into a video. It is I would say that it is different, but it's so much less different than it seems when it's like when I think about it now. Just as far as like, it would have to be like a vortex kind of a deal, but like obviously, God, I don't want to speculate because I don't want to sound like a dumbass, but I'm gonna keep watching. This is great.
I can see.
TARDIS? I don't understand you, Zeus. Well, I made up the name TARDIS from the initials, time and relative dimension in space. I thought you'd both understand when you saw the different dimensions inside from those outside.
Let me get this
I
straight.
love her
A
now.
thing that looks
She's
like
just-
a police box standing in a junkyard.
As far as like knowing what I know from the other one, where like she doesn't want him to die, and like she's like Castiel, where she's innocent but from a different time, and has that distortion of like that fish out of water story. Whereas the grandpa has been through a lot of shit. He's probably time traveled a bunch, and he was kind of a dick in the other one, which I thought was funny. And he's not that much of a dick in this one, which I think is an improvement if you're gonna try to make him the main character of the show. But I did enjoy that him being a dick. But yeah, this is great.
It can move anywhere. Aspirated, Susan. Remember the Red Indian? When he saw the first steam train, his savage mind thought it an illusion too. You're treating us like children. Am I?
This is bound to happen
Children
in
of
old
my
movies.
civilization would be insulted. Your civilization? Yes, my civilization. I tolerate this century, but I don't enjoy it. Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? Have you?
Supposed to be from the future. He's like, I don't like this era. And racism is a good reason not to, and he was just an example of it, which is just the hilarious ironicness of that is just so funny. And yeah, I understand why people who like this. What the fuck? That's me. And I do have a little bit of Indian in me, so. Native, sorry. But, the way he said that was, like, uncomfortable. And, you know, I knew going into this that there was going to be sexism and racism because this is 1963. And part of why I'm doing this in the first place is because this is a franchise that spans from the 60s all the way to now, except for the 90s, because it was 89, they stopped, and then they started in 2005. I did that much research. And part of my love of film is the history of film and the way that it's shifted, because a lot of it seems propagandic, and I'm not saying that this is, because this is more of a product of that than an example of it, but just the way that like the history of the world shifts through the lens of just what was okay and not okay in the medium is very interesting to me. So yeah.
Susan and I are cut off from our own planet, without friends or protection. But one day, we shall get back. Yes, one day.
You'd think they'd be more tolerant where he's from, but I understand that this was not written in the future. So.
It's true.
And he's
every
old.
word of it's true. You don't know what you've done coming here. Grandfather, let them go now, please. Look, if they don't understand, they can't.
He's like, I hate this century. I prefer the 1800s. That'd be funny. Oh, if any of these go to, like, if there's an episode in the Old West, do not tell me at all. But that'd be cool.
They can't hurt us at all. I understand these people better than you. Their minds reject things they don't understand.
She's doing so much better.
No.
Susan, listen to me. Can't you see that all this is an illusion? It's a game that you and your grandfather are playing, if you like, but you can't expect.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Like, the first one, he's like, we can't let them leave. And I'm like, I'm fine with that. And then this one, they're just like, this obvious stuff that's science that we're not let in on the knowledge of, or we haven't discovered yet, that we have physical proof of right in front of our faces. It can't be real because we don't know about it. That pisses me the fuck off, I gotta say. I hate when something that's something that's very obvious is given to you as proof, and like you're like, get it?
I love England in the 20th century. The last 5 months have been the happiest of my life. But you are one of us. You look like us. You sound like us. I was born in another time, another world.
Now look here, Susan, you... Oh,
Slight racism in there.
come on, Barbara. Let's get out of here.
No use, you can't get
No, 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 no. Full racism in there. Just delivered slightly like that old school racism as usually.
He won't let you go.
There's the doors from over there. I saw it. Which is it? Which is it?
Wait a minute. This is a fun thing to delve into. Because in the original pilot for this that I watched first, none of that racism was in there that I saw. And now that the studios picked it up and their heads are involved and they're giving notes on what to add and this is going to be a full series, suddenly it's in there. So like I was saying earlier, there is that propaganda and it is subtle. And this is 1963, so it is probably a backlash. Oh, you're reading into it. There's if I don't want to go into like just the whole history of the subtleness of all the racism in old movies because frankly I'm not the one that should be doing that.
The door. Still think it's all an illusion. I know that free movement in time and space is a scientific dream I don't expect to find solved in a junkyard. Your arrogance is nearly as great as your ignorance. Will you open the door?
Ooh.
Open the door.
I think I've seen that quote a bunch everywhere of just with Doctor Who, but I didn't remember it until now.
I can't touch it. It's live. Oh, dear. What on earth
Got me
are you
again.
doing? Grandfather, let them go.
I think the sound was better in the first one. Overall, too, like the music was good. Like, where's the score? That was a good score. Did they not have the rights to that score? Was that like used? Like, was that like reused music or something? Let me know about that.
Go from their place. They're bound to make some.
This is also like, I think way better as far as like having all the colors pop so that like it looks better as far as like the shading and shit. Like you can tell like in the first one, like they didn't really have all the makeup to like make the faces more. Make you see the depth of it more with when you don't have like the color. I love it.
Sort of off to their friends. If I do let them go, Susan, you realize, of course, we must go too.
No, Grandfather, I've had all this up.
Alternative, child.
I want to stay. Look, they're both kind people. Why don't you trust them? All you've got to do is ask them to promise to keep our secret and...
It's out of the question.
I won't go, Grandfather. I won't leave the 20th century. I'd rather leave the target.
I mean, so far the 21st century is arguably worse, but we got 2 world wars. We got Vietnam, we got fucking Reagan and AIDS and crack and just God, why that? I mean, I understand that that's the century that they're set in, so that has to be the plot that she wants to stay there. And you know, 60s free love, acid. Yeah, maybe she hasn't even seen the 70s and 80s yet.
Mental and child.
No, I mean it.
Yeah.
Very well. Then you must go with them. I'll open the door.
Are you coming soon?
What? Yeah, they totally. I called that shit. They made him not a psycho in this, and I was like, yeah, I don't know how they're gonna make him carry the franchise if he's a psycho, but that's an interesting twist. And yeah, it is the original pilot's more Rick and Morty than this. Like if I had watched this first, I probably would have had a very loose thing. I would have probably said it was more close to obviously Back to the Future, but thinking of it now, he's closer to the Doctor in the original pilot, where he's just evil. Maybe I think that was intentional. Like, what if we mixed that evil doctor from the first episode with Doc Brown, and we just made him a drunk? I didn't plan that, but when I felt it coming, I was like, "Oh God, this is perfect timing." I love that it has the thing is alive. It can tell who's touching it. What the fuck? What the fuck? What is that music? What is those sounds? The first one was so much better with that. The acting and like the set design and the like I said the makeup is better. The added racism and the lack of the music score other than the rock and this whole extra thing that's totally not as disorienting. It's more like what the fuck. Not a fan of that change. Not a fan, and I'm hoping that the music and sound effects get better as the series goes on. There it is. I paused it right before all the cool sounds happened, sorry. Oh, and the whole town? What? Oh, wait, no, that's the computer thing again. It just looks like a town now. I like the sound design. I literally spoke too soon there. But again, that first bit with the fucking ping pong noises like Halloween 5 and the fucking. That was like, what? And then that stuff being so disorienting, probably like. I bet it worked with the whole thing. Yeah. Sometimes I don't pause at the right moments, but if I talk over everything and then I don't. Like, I can only use so much of the sound of this, I think. So. Again, I think the TARDIS again looks better, and it looks like they just used the same shot, but they cropped out that TARDIS and put this TARDIS in. Which, if you know anything about old school filmmaking, ooh, next episode, Cave of Skulls. That sounds wicked. But yeah, that wasn't the easiest thing to do. The hopefully the most derivative episode of the whole franchise. Uh, yeah, let me know. Have you even seen the unaired pilot? Obviously, I would assume that you have if you're watching this, but I don't know. But like as far as comparing them, yeah, the actress was so much better from the unaired pilot to the aired pilot that I literally thought she was a different actress until they played the first scene of her that wasn't reshot. It goes to show that actresses range because like obviously like the first one, like I said, while it was jarring, it was supposed to be a character from another planet, or not from another planet, but from the future. So it makes sense. And I bet the direction was just tone it back a bit, make it more human, make it a little bit more like the Doctor, because you're from the same time period, only he's been around a little longer. And I can see the evolution of that, like immediately. Like I said, the studio, whether or not they had a hand in that added lines, or if that was just something they came up with when they were trying to rewrite and make him not so ironically make him not so evil. But yeah, I'm uncomfortable with that. But like I said, I saw that coming into this show because it's from the '60s. I think I should probably edit these ones and post them before I film the next ones. But I think I'm just gonna keep going through these because I don't want to run out of film halfway through an episode because that would piss me off and it would make the video not good. So I'm not gonna do that. But you know, if you like these, obviously subscribe because I'm gonna keep doing them. And you know, check out what else is on here. If you're a horror fan or if you're a comedy fan, I have some other shit on here too. Yeah, these two videos, one video, but I don't think I am because I don't think anyone would watch that. I mean, I know people are gonna watch both of them probably, but the idea that like I just had to watch these both back to back, and honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought, because when they first showed the first scene, like the intro, I thought like it looks like this was reshot, and then the first whole like clip was like exactly the first whole clip from the unaired pilot, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be most. You saw my reaction, but yeah, no, I think this is going despite some obvious bad things in it, but you know, it was the analyzing these based on like the time they came out, and it could have been a lot worse than what I saw. And I'm assuming it will get worse just based on like the idea of there being otherworldly creatures, and just the I'm assuming the way they're gonna say some things are gonna be not great. But all that aside, sci-fi movies are fun. Like Star Wars, one of my main shits. I've already proven that in this video. Uh, so I love some sci-fi movies. I never really got into Star Trek, but maybe I'll react to all those because I haven't really seen them. And but just because I said that because it's so long and I'm doing this. And I love Stargate, but again, I've only seen the movie. Then Star Trek. But yeah, Doctor Who. Let's see. Of the two episodes, which one do I like more? More, because despite everything that's so much better in the other one, the first one isn't racist. And I like Evil Doctor, so that's fun. Second slash first episode, and the next episode will be a completely new experience with a whole new set of problematic and fun stuff for me to talk about. So I can't wait to get into it. But yeah, check you later.